NBC News.
That was almost like a scene from the movie Up. That's Nightly News for this Friday, Halloween. I'm Peter Alexander. I'll see you here tomorrow morning on Today. Have a good night.
KUAM TV 8, home of the Milan Cortina Olympics. Coverage begins February 6th, 2026.
Half a day, I'm Mitsuki Hirayama. You're watching KUAM News Weekend Edition. Thanks for joining us. Well, they keep Guam's most dangerous individuals behind bars, but for years, many state correctional officers themselves have been left behind. Now a new bill aims to finally bring fairness and funding to those who guard the gates at the Department of Corrections. Jonigan Charfers has more.
What is fair compensation that will help Guam's most chronically understaffed agencies? That's a question Senator Chris Barnett hopes to answer through Bill 140-38, the Fair Compensation and Retention for Correctional Officers Act of 2025. The measure would require the Department of Administration to conduct salary, recruitment, and retention studies specific to DOC officers every 3 years, with the first one due within 90 days of becoming law. At Monday's public hearing, Barnett said this is his third attempt to get the measure passed after a previous version was vetoed by the governor and another was left out of the budget bill. Barnett noted that while Guam police officers received a 25% pay differential, the increase did not address the pay gap between corrections officers and other law enforcement agencies. Barnett said that he did receive a lot of testimony in support of the bill from employees and families.
But I also want to state for the record the concerns that were shared with me by social workers who are employed at the Department of Corrections and parole officers who are employed at the Department of Corrections. And they feel that they, too, should be able to avail of this differential pay or any type of pay that should come as a result of this study.
DOC Director Fred Berdalio Jr. opposed the measure, saying it would disrupt the government's broader Hays study schedule and that legislation isn't needed to ensure timely reviews. He urged lawmakers instead to prioritize funding for pay adjustments through the budget process. Although not present for the hearing, Major Anton Uggan read Berdalio's testimony. A longtime DOC veteran Uggan threw his support behind the bill, saying past pay adjustments haven't solved the manpower crisis. Despite the existing 25% retention pay, DOC continues to face major recruitment and retention challenges.
These studies help build a more stable, skilled, and effective workforce, better equipped to ensure public safety. Address high turnover. High turnover is costly and disruptive. A study helps pinpoint the cause of officer turnover, enabling targeted solutions to reduce the vacancies.
Uggan said periodic studies could help strengthen the department's workforce by identifying real gaps in salary, training, and career development.
So I just wanted to say for the record, I'm very aware of the concerns expressed by the entirety of the Department of Corrections family, and I want to work closely with the committee to amend the measure.
He added that after years of delay, it's time to make sure Guam's correctional officers and those who work alongside them get their fair compensation and respect they deserve. The bill now awaits further discussion in committee before heading to the legislative floor. Jonigan Charfres, KUAM News.
They may be small in number, just 4, but their strength, discipline, and unity run deep. The members of the Department of Corrections Basic Corrections Officer Training Class of 2025 have proven that it's not the size of the class that defines them, but the heart behind the badge. Jonigan Charfers reports.
They began their journey back in April, 4 recruits with one mission, to earn the badge of a Guam Department of Corrections officer. For 20-year-old Corrections Officer 1 Bailey Sablon, he says his purpose.
What really was the go-getter for this profession is my family and being able to be a role model for my son. I just wanted to be able to provide for my family in a way where it's rewarding and it's not just a regular job.
New Corrections Officer 1, 29-year-old Jacob John Garrido shares his challenge throughout the training.
Leading a team of unique individuals from different backgrounds and ages and getting them to come together to be a really good cycle for our cadres and for the department.
Over the past several months, they've pushed through long days of intensive physical training, classroom instruction, and scenario-based exercises, learning not just the policies and procedures, but the responsibility and discipline the uniform demands.
The biggest lessons that I've learned personally, was verbal judo. It's essentially when you talk to an individual and gain compliance through that, it helps lessen the physical contact necessary to gain compliance.
Responsibility as well, as long as integrity. Just having those three things will probably make you a good officer.
And after months of training, testing, and field experience, these recruits have now fulfilled their post-certification requirements, officially earning their place among Guam's correctional officers. Cadre Santos.
These quality officers will make a difference.
Through it all, they've built more than just skills. They've built a bond, one forged through shared challenges, mutual respect, and an unwavering commitment to serve.
Our goal, like any cycle, we try to teach them everything they need to know and give them the tools so they can be confident in their knowledge and skills when they become a correction officer.
With their families, mentors, and fellow officers looking on Thursday afternoon, Corrections Officer 1 Sablon, Corrections Officer 1 Timinglo, Corrections Officer 1 Garrido, and Corrections Officer 1 Rubin were given their badges and oath of office to start the process of officially applying the training they have received. The four stood proud, pledging to uphold the law, protect the community, and carry out their duties with integrity and honor. DOC says BCOT 2025-01 exemplifies the agency's mission to develop well-trained professional officers dedicated to public safety and rehabilitation, proof that even a class of 4 can make a powerful impact. These newly sworn corrections officers will now join the 15th Guam Police Department's training cycle in December for a combined graduation of police and corrections officers that have trained together.
I hope that they go on when they graduate and continue to train, continue to learn, and be better officers than everybody else before them, because now they have more up-to-date training. So they should be better, and they should always continue to train and never forget what they learned. I've seen them come a long way from the beginning phase as civilians to now almost becoming officers. They have come a long way. They have changed a lot mentally and physically, and I believe that now they are ready to uphold the standards of a correction officer.
They're well-rounded and well-equipped to do the job, so they're up for the challenge.
Jonagan Charfras, KUAM News.
A 30-year-old man with a history of convictions is behind bars once again, this time accused of using a stolen credit card to rack up thousands in charges. According to court documents, Jude Donovan Santos allegedly used a card he claimed to have, quote, found on the ground in Tumon to make more than $4,000 worth of purchases, including jewelry. The victim told police he only realized his card was missing days later when reviewing his account activity. When the victim went to one of the stores where the card had been used, he ran into Santos, who was later identified by the store clerk as the person behind the transactions. Police say Santos admitted to several of the unauthorized purchases. Santos, who has 5 prior convictions, including theft and assault, was charged with fraudulent use of a credit card and theft of property. He was booked and confined on $1,500 cash bail and faces up to 6 years in prison if convicted. More than 1,000 items stolen, and Oakland police as well as federal investigators are now looking for those rare historic pieces and whoever is behind it.
A few days before that jewelry heist at the Louvre in Paris, the Oakland Museum of California was dealing with its own massive theft.
It's devastating.
Director and CEO Lori Fogarty says more than 1,000 items were stolen from their off-site warehouse. Oakland police say it happened just before 3:30 a.m. on October 15th, and staff noticed a lot was gone when they came in the following day. The thieves in and out in what Fogarty describes as a short amount of time.
We think that this was more of a crime of opportunity.
These are just some of the items taken. and rare Native American woven baskets, jewelry, historic photos, and a scrimshaw or historic carvings on ivory tusks, most given as gifts that the museum had in its collection for decades.
I think it is very possible that the people who stole these items don't really know themselves what they have and why it might be important and where to, actually, if they're trying to pass it off or sell it, where to take it.
Stealing from a museum is a federal crime. That's why the FBI is involved. Museum staff hope that investigators will be able to close this case just like they did in 2012 and 2013. In those cases, not only did they get the items back, but there was also a conviction. For any potential buyers of these stolen items, there are red flags to watch for. Vanessa Murray runs Narrative Oakland, a vintage design collective. She's been in the antiques industry for around 15 years.
If somebody has a large collection like that, they're going to have auction receipts, they're going to have authentication, documentation, they're going to have insurance information.
The museum hasn't put a figure on how much those stolen items could cost, but an Oakland historian says it's a big loss if it's not recovered.
This is 1,000 items out of what they've chosen to accept, and so there's inherently some value in all that. Be losing some items that are from Native American community, which has had over time has had its history intentionally erased, from the time of the Spanish on through the present, is kind of doubly galling.
The recovery from one of the most destructive fires in Los Angeles history is far from over. A federal grand jury recently indicted John Rinder in connection to the January Palisades fire. Many former Guam residents who now call LA home felt the impacts, including Carmen Napati Davis and her family. KUAM contributing correspondent Nick Delgado checks in with Davis, who operates a Guam barbecue business out there.
We're houses. All of this is houses. All of this.
Chef Carmen Napati Davis points to the aftermath of the destructive fires that hit Los Angeles back in January.
After the fire, it was really hard. It was really hard to get back on the streets, but we got out there the next day after it happened, and we worked with the community and touched the community, and we wanted to give back to the community because LA was it was sad. Everywhere you went was sad, and so giving back and feeding them helped them get back to where they needed to be. After that, business has gotten a little slow, and it hurt us a little bit, but it didn't stop us. So we kept going and kept going and kept going, and here we are today.
Rising from the ashes, Island Smoke and Grill continues helping the Southern California communities by sharing the holiday spirit through food.
We're just trying to merge our culture with other cultures and let them know that Guam is small, but we're mighty and we're screaming loud, and we're just wanting to touch everybody one fiesta plate at a time. And it's hard, but it's worth it. And I don't mind doing this for our people. I do it just the way my Nana and Tata did it, and I'm getting a lot of Manamkuts coming down here, and they cry because they miss home. And for all of you who are out here in California and you do miss home, I've created a space for you to come and be a part of my little home.
A little taste from home, all done with Sage de la Cruz on the grill.
It was a bit hard on all of us, especially with a lot of people that we knew. What happened with the fire, it was just crazy. Like, even for us as a business and as a family, like, it's just only 3 of us that are doing this. So it was just a bit crazy for everything, and like having to pack up, worry about like if business, because a lot of places were closing down. It felt like the pandemic all over again.
Sage recalls the days the fires burned across the area.
So I'd say it was very tough mentally, but, we're tomorrows we push through.
And pushing through to also perpetuate his island roots with his grilling.
I'd have to say it's like, you take a bite, it's like going down to memory lane. It's like every time I eat something, it reminds me like I'm back home on Guam. It's just such a great feeling that I love it. I love this. I love having, seeing other chamorros with our empanadas and everything else. They'll be like, this just tastes like just like home. And they lived out here for like 30 years and like, wow, this brings me back. It's just a great feeling. Plus, being Native American chamorro, it's just great all around. Having both sides of that culture and that heritage out here in the mainland is just great.
And customers definitely are feeling the warmth of Guam.
It's like a home-cooked meal. It's awesome.
It's always a real treat. And we did as well.
Viva Island Smoke and Grill!
Choo! With every bite. For KUAM News, I'm Nick Delgado.
Well, the village of Zonya is growing a little greener this month. It's all in celebration of Arbor Month. The Guam Department of Agriculture's Forestry and Soil Resources Division team teamed up with the Zonya Mayor's Office and the Southern Guam Soil and Water Conservation District for a community tree planting event. Volunteers planted 28 trees around the village senior citizen center and baseball field, including native species like agao, langiti, and ephit, along with fruit trees such as calamansi and tamarind. The goal is to create healthier green spaces and promote sustainability across the island. Now, the Zonya planting is in part of a series of events for Arbor and Fire Prevention Month that included a fire and tree safety presentation for Head Start students yesterday and a citizen Forester Mapping Day held earlier today. As this year's Arbor Month wraps up, the community is reminded of the importance of this year's theme, Green Spaces, Shared Spaces, Enhancing Our Forests Together. Well, stick around. We have more coming up on Weekend Edition. You're watching KUAM.
Every day, there's something new to discover. Fresh styles, fresh finds, and fresh ways to make your home and family shine. So what's new at Kmart Guam? Ready to assemble furniture, stylish, affordable, and ready to take home today. Dream big with our new selection of mattresses, comfort you can count on. Upgrade your home with the latest appliances, arriving now. Step out in style with new arrivals in men's and women's fashion. Fresh looks for every season. What's new? Everything. And it's all waiting for you only at Kmart Guam.
Is your child having difficulty walking, talking, playing and learning like other children? As parents, we ask ourselves, what should I be doing? If you are worried about your child's development, the Guam Early Learning Council is here to help. Simply dial 311 Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., excluding holidays, to get resources and valuable information.
Hafa de Guam on a great weekend. I'm Jason Salas here downtown in Hagåtña, and what is normally like a little restaurant space has been transformed into a creative center and entrepreneurship workshop. It is a haven of creative ideas, of passion, of activity, and this is Nenpire. This is one of several workshop sessions that is being hosted by a very dear friend of mine that I've worked with in entrepreneurship projects, Dar Calvel. Here we are. Let me spin around here so the light is behind you there. So, yeah, Dar, this is a fantastic opportunity, and many people say that, you know, if you want to have the entrepreneurial spirit, you got to go through college, you got to wait till you're older and everything like that. What you're actually proving to the entire island and to these little ones is you can do this at any age if you have a problem to solve or passion.
For sure. It can begin as early as 4, even younger. I feel like we all have the entrepreneurial spirit in us if we just apply ourselves and ask those questions of creativity and how we can change the world.
And you were really giving these, you know, you're giving these little ones, you know, like confidence, a little bit of motivation, a little bit of context and everything, and you just let them run wild with their ideas right now. So what are they working on at the moment?
Right now, this is our first workshop, so every workshop we go through different aspects of entrepreneurship, and the first one we're going through brainstorming ideas, and at the end of this workshop we hope that they can find an idea that they can work on for the next 4 weeks to launch to the public at the Nenny Christmas Market. Okay, so here is our worksheet, and just take me through this, because this is a wonderful exercise, and I love the fact that it's brainstorming, because these aren't easy questions. No, it's not. So they first think about what inspires them, what makes them happy, you know, what are they interested in, and then they go into solving problems. What problems do they see in their everyday lives, and what are some solutions that can solve these problems, you know, whether it be pollution or transportation. And then we go into more brainstorming. They can draw pictures or write down words that remind them of what entrepreneurship is to them. And at the end of it, they should have a business idea.
Very nice.
And then once they have that business idea, this is a little bit of homework where they get to do some more research and development throughout the week. Prior to this, we had an activity where they thought of a basic product, and each of them thought about how they can make it better throughout brainstorming, right? So this is called the everything marker. It changes colors. It even checks your blood pressure. I thought that was cool.
Very nice.
Yeah, and then these are little, the younger ones, and they thought about collectibles and how it's heart-shaped, star-shaped, plushie, it has slime in it.
This is a little bit more on the user interface and everything like that to make a real visual impact and everything. I can see that.
And that's like our icebreaker.
Yeah, and Dar, what you're giving these little ones is a lot of responsibility and and freedom to create, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, and here at the Nenpire, we really value the life skills that we teach here and have them apply, from critical thinking to creativity. We really empower them and encourage them to feel empowered throughout this experience.
Okay, and I love this because we have a live, you are looking, everybody, as it's happening, the workshop. This is kind of like the capstone project for this first session, but we have here Naomi and Bert from Pono Hawaiian Grill, and they are showing kids how to make musubi. Now, Dar, I know like one thing is, anybody could basically teach a young child to basically say, take a bed of rice, throw a piece of fish or some chicken on top of it and wrap it with seaweed. When you cook with love and you actually infuse that into the products you make and the services you offer, it's a completely different experience, and that's what they're learning.
Yeah, and in this activity, we're challenging them to create their own unique musubi. We even threw in some ingredients in there like honey and maple syrup and see what they do with it. You have some vegetables. Hopefully some of them choose those. But it's a really hands-on experience, and that's something that the Nenpire is all about, is providing hands-on experience with real-life mentors.
Okay, kids, who's making the hot dog musubi? I am your first customer. I am lining up.
Yeah, so we partner up.
And they're also learning food safety and food preparation with the gloves, which I love. That's fantastic.
Always. Yeah, and we partner up with local entrepreneurs in every workshop that we do. So this workshop, we're honored to have Bert and Naomi, owners of Pono and Leche Guam. Now they have a brick and mortar restaurant, and they're really helping to inspire the kids to think outside the box and, again, to feel empowered.
This is so amazing, and like you're seeing here, the tools that these young children, these future leaders of Guam have really been putting together and putting to good use. So that's the Nenpire, everybody. Dar, thanks so much. Congratulations to you and your team. Hi, Ari. What a wonderful thing you're doing for the young people these days.
Oh, yeah, it's a fantastic organization. I'm so happy to be a part of the program.
Okay, well, bless you guys. You guys are doing amazing.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Beyond the Game is presented by Gatorade. Hafa Adai, everybody. I'm Jason Salas, and I am here with Katarina Scro Camacho. We are here at Legacy Gym, a wonderful gym downtown in Naganya. And Kat, this is your business. Congratulations on that. And you have an amazing story to share about how you're not a competitive athlete. You did play a little bit of soccer and rugby at academy.
Yeah.
But now in maturity, you're not a competitive athlete, but you were able to actually use the magic of sports and specifically running to help you deal with grief and something, and you achieved a larger victory in that, and I think that's amazing.
Thank you, Jason. First of all, thank you for coming here and allowing me to share my story of how I really turned the biggest pain in my life into purpose. October is actually National Depression and Mental Health Screening Month, and I really feel that we spend a lot of time focusing on our physical health and not enough time on our mental health, and that was a key for me during this process because January of last year I lost my dad and I had a very hard time coping with it. I probably did very unhealthy things to try to deal with it. I wanted to move off island. I was drinking a little too much. I spent a lot of time going to Ross, shopping, trying to get that dopamine, or whenever my husband, Say, who was my fiance at the time, would go and train, I would just try to fill time spending it with friends and family. That's how I developed a running group, because of my husband.
And I love how you said, you were chasing like a dopamine. I mean, that's kind of like the literal neurological thing that are going inside your body, but as far as like your spirit, you were looking for an answer, maybe like a release, some sort of, like miracle that could help you deal with dad's loss. And like 7 Januaries ago, I lost my dad too.
Sorry.
So I have that thank you. And so we have that empathy and everything. Yeah. So you turned to running, obviously. And you came up with this concept and everything to honor dad and to deal with it yourself. So tell me about like how exactly what your route was and what was the concept behind your running.
So my dad passed away January last year, and I actually did 2 runs. The first run I did, like you mentioned, I wasn't really an athlete. Yes, I did do rugby and soccer, but that was more my freshman, sophomore year. I graduated in 2010, so that was quite a while ago. And I was never much of a runner. I did it occasionally. The longest run I ever did prior was a half marathon in maybe 2015, 2016, and I swore I'd never do it again.
I love how you say, like, I'm really not an athlete, but I did a half marathon.
I trained for that. I did it with my mom, and it was because I had just met, I had just started dating Say, and he was doing all these things, and so I just wanted to try it, and it just wasn't for me at the time. I didn't have any other purpose other than my boyfriend was doing it, and then he was watching a documentary about a woman who did it in honor of her mom's passing. She passed away from cancer, and she did all these distances in honor of her mother. So I told him, after just doing a 10K, I think I'm gonna do that. So I spent 2.5 months training last year. I did it in September. So I decided to run 64 kilometers, a kilometer for every year of my dad's life. And obviously there was no races around Guam coming up, so I just created my own route, and I chose different landmarks that reminded me of my dad. So I started off at our apartment at the time was in Tumuning, and then I would go to GRMC, and then I would go to my brother's house, some hotels, because we would always dance in the lobby. So all these markers that reminded me of my dad, and then I eventually finished at his grave. And throughout that process of training for it, it really helped me to cope with what I was trying to run away from, because when you're running long distances, you have a lot of time to think, process. I cried all the time. Just instead of running from the pain, I decided to run straight through it. And that's exactly how I dealt with my grieving. I would cry, I would talk to him, I prayed a lot, and then eventually I'd look at my watch and I'd realize, wow, I've never ran 15 miles before. I'm already there. So I'd cry because I'm happy.
It's that runner's inner monologue that you had, right?
A lot of people wanted me to share my story, but it was something that I was still dealing with grief. And I don't think that run really helped me to get over that grief. Right after that run, what I thought would heal me of all the sadness, I actually ended up, I was in 2 knee braces. I had nerve damage on my left arm. I couldn't feel it for 2 months because I was carrying a pack.
Because on the second round, you did 64 miles.
Yes.
You went from 64 kilometers to 64 miles.
Yep, and then...
Incredible.
Thank you. But I didn't run after that because of all the injuries. And the following week, right after my run in September, my grandpa went in the hospital, and then he eventually passed a few weeks after. So I was going through grief all over again, experiencing everything that I just felt a couple months prior. So I won't say that running helps me heal with my grief, but it did make me develop habits to become just a much stronger person, learn about perseverance. And just because times are hard, you shouldn't quit. You just gotta kind of stay through the suck and the resistance and keep pushing through, because at the end of it, there's something beautiful about it. I think a lot of times when resistance happens in our life, it's so easy to numb the pain, or it's so easy to stop doing something that's hard just for the fact that it's difficult and that's not life. And that's what actually brought me to my second run, which was 64 miles.
What's been the feedback of what people have found about your story and what they've been able to tell you about it?
I think because of my second run, it was more of a journey for me. Last year was just to cope with getting through life, and when you're so sad, you just want to find happiness in life, and that's what I think I did. And then the second run was both, I would say, for me and for my dad, but a little bit more personal to me. So
Beyond the Game is presented by Gatorade.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Tender love and care.
Did we invent crispy chicken? Nah. We just put it where it belongs, inside burritos and tacos, obviously. Extra saucy. 2 strips, huh? Look at that. Overachieving? Sure. Did you ask for it? No, but we did it anyway. Crispy chicken from Taco Bell, a brand new classic. You're welcome.
Now here's your Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club shoutout submitted to us on KUAM.com.
On Saturday, happy birthday, Dada, otherwise known to you and I as Craig Martin. Love your peanuts and the entire family. Want to wish your special someone a happy birthday? Just click the QR code here on your screen or email birthdayclub@KUAM.com.
That's going to do it for us here on Weekend Edition. Visit KUAM.com or follow us at KUAM News on social media for the latest news. For now, I'm Mitsuki Hirayama. Have a safe weekend.
The One Micronesia Show is brought to you by American Music, located in the Compadres Mall. Now carrying all of our major music brands only at Compadres Mall.
Ali, Mogathin, half a day's